Hey, how's it going? Dylan here. Today I'll be talking about my review on Mute. So Mute is another movie from director Duncan Jones, who did one of my favourite films of all time, which is Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. And he's done a few films since then. He did Source Code, which was okay, I enjoyed it, and Warcraft, which I actually haven't seen. Didn't really interest me, but I've been waiting for this for a long time. Another one of his original screenplays called Mute, and it's in the same universe as Moon. There's little things throughout the movie that connect them. So I was really keen to see what he did, and it's an interesting kind of premise, and a very strange film, actually. So I sat down to watch this last night, released on Netflix worldwide. It's a Netflix movie, and I was very excited about it. Probably a bit too excited, but so I watched this movie. It's about 2 hours long, and it's obviously directed by Duncan Jones. Stars Alexander Skarsgård as the main character, who's an Amish mute. So straight off the bat, kind of a strange protagonist going on there. Definitely not the standard protagonist. And it also stars a bunch of other people, and namely Paul Rudd, who's kind of like the main, I guess you could say, antagonist of the film to a degree. And he actually does a really good job here, like in a non-kind of comedic role. And he grew a fantastic moustache. It is a wonder to be seen. You should see the movie for that, really. The movie itself, after watching it, I kind of didn't know how to feel. It felt okay. I felt like it had pacing issues and various other things. So I went to sleep, woke up this morning, and I think the more I think about it, the more I actually enjoyed what I saw. Alexander Skarsgård does an absolutely fantastic job of acting this character, who's a mute, who can't speak, and he's Amish as well, which makes things even harder for him. And it's just an extremely interesting character, I found, and his acting is fantastic. The way he conveys emotion. Paul Rudd was quite good. He does a little bit of Paul Ruddy things, understandable, but for the most part, he's kind of a bit menacing, and but the film. This film kind of makes you. I saw someone on Twitter say this. It makes you love and hate most of the characters, even the villains. Can you kind of relate to in the story, because it actually follows Paul Rudd's character quite a bit throughout the story, and for unknown reasons at the start, but you get the connection later as to why they're kind of showing that, because it's all connected. And I think that as time goes on, I will like it even more. It's got a fantastic score, like a really interesting soundtrack. It's set in like a cyberpunk futuristic Berlin, so kind of Blade Runner, but not set in the US, set in Berlin. So it's quite an interesting aesthetic. It has really good production design and really good world building, so lots of background details, like the culture and things like that. It's quite an interesting film. It drags on a bit, I will say that. Like watching it for the first time last night, it felt like it was long. It's about just over 2 hours, I think. But I think with the second viewing, it'll kind of seem shorter, which will be good. And I think it was quite well done film. Probably one of my favourite Netflix original movies, productions, definitely of the past year. And the cinematography here is decent. I noticed they switch between some what look like anamorphics to standard lenses a bit, so it's not. I don't really like when that happens. But the cinematography isn't really the main focus of a lot of the scenes, so I can forgive it for that. Definitely not a film for everyone. It's not super conventional. It has an interesting ending, one of those endings where you feel like it should end, but then it doesn't end. You feel betrayed, but then it kind of does have a nice ending in the end. So I don't know if that conveys it very well. But all in all, I enjoyed myself. It's an interesting take, and Duncan Jones has done a fairly good job at doing something fairly original and interesting. I see a lot of people hating on this film, and I can understand why. It's not going to appeal to everyone, especially it's one of those films where it's just not going to work for some people, and a lot of people are putting it in the same category as Cloverfield Paradox and Bright. So I would gladly put this way above those two in terms of quality and filmmaking techniques. I also think I definitely saw a cameo by Sam Rockwell somewhere in there in a little news report part, which is a little in thing. So that was always cool. I'm going to give Mute by Duncan Jones 8 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching as always. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget to follow me on Stardust. I do short reactions for various things, TV episodes, movies, etc. And it's a nice little community for little short reviews. Alright, hopefully I'll get a bunch of videos filmed this weekend for this coming week. I've had some arrivals of some review copies of some Blu-rays, some anime stuff, so it could be good to get into that. And I've got some more on the way, definitely. Also, I'm going to start probably giving away some of my digital codes because I never use them, so why not? So look out for that. As always, enjoy your day. See you next time.